Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
Business Point on Global Television.
The business world can be dynamic and unpredictable, with headwinds and volatility sometimes becoming an obstacle for players in the business and economy landscape. Watch Business Point on Global Television as Samuel Oji walks you through the twists, turns and curves in bonds, stocks and crucial market indices from a global standpoint. Watch Business Point weekdays on Global Television at 11 a.m. West African time. Business Point. This is business. Thank you, everyone. Incidentally, we're being rejoined by our guest, Ahmed Yahuza, who joins us live via Zoom from Kano State, northwest Nigeria this morning. Thank you for your time and patience. Yahuza, I was asking earlier about the Bello Turiji elements, and you were trying to establish a narrative in that regard.
Well, like I was saying, there are 6 outlier reasons why the minister is so concerned. Not only the minister, the government entirely, and all the security formations, the National Security Advisor, the Defense Headquarters and the Army Headquarters, Air Force Headquarters, as well as all other formations of the DSS and others, about Bello Turji. One of those reasons is, one, Bello Turji is the only kingpin that exhibit or expose or demonstrate the capability and ability and the capacity to utilize maximally the social media, which is very, very difficult for federal government and all the security formations, Office of the National Security Advisor and the military, as well as the Minister of Defense, to be able to manage. Because any information goes through social media in a second, it can easily hit 100 millions or more than that. Cell phones and so on. Secondly, Bello Turji was the one who facilitated the process of killing of 40 people during Buhari, last days of Buhari administration whereby more than 40 people were born alive in a bus between Shinkafi and Kauran Namoda, which also involved many of the pregnant mothers, which really touch the whole world, not only Nigeria. It was really horrible and terrible. Number three, Bello Turji has exhibited the capacity of attacking many military APCs, that is armored personal carrier vehicles, happens to have ambushed many of the military personnel at various times around Zurmi, Shinkafi, Sabon Birni, Gwaranyo, Isa, Kauran Namoda, Talata Mafara, both of Sokoto and Zamfara states. And again, Bello Turji also have been challenging the government and even given the government an ultimatum that if they have the capacity, he is waiting for them so that he can be attended and apprehended. And number five, it is very clear that Bello Turji have not been kind of sanctioning through certain fixed and fine for communities around Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara in more than 20 local governments around that area, requesting them to pay such an amount of money as a fine for them to be allowed to cultivate within the areas where they are, and also taking the control of those ungoverned spaces. And he has been in charge of control of those locations. And number six, the Minister of Defense is in Zamfara, and Bello Turji has been one of the most difficult person that federal government and the security formations have been working hard to kind of apprehend and deal with, or even delete. Number seven, which is the final, I can say that Bello Turji is an indigene of Zamfara state, precisely from Kware, from Shinkafi local government, Kware and Korea political ward, and precisely from Fakir community. And that's where he still resides. And I have been saying that Bello Turji and all other kingpins of the criminals are known, and their locations is known, and they can be apprehended and can be dealt with. So Bello Turji has been speaking on behalf of the Fulani clan, challenging the federal government as an institution, and discussing the discrimination between the Fulani and the federal government, the state government, the judiciary, and the police and other security agencies have been molesting and terrorizing or abusing the rights and privileges of Fulani. A lot of talking about more of sensitive issues. I think this should be one of the key reasons, and some other reasons which I cannot discuss on air.
I need to ask you this really, because it's becoming very complicated on the one hand and disturbing on the other. You just established a narrative that shows that this man is not in the air. He is at a precise location, and you have mentioned times and places the last couple of minutes. The question, however, becomes, why has it become impossible to the point that the Minister of Defense, so to speak, has become a motivational speaker for the armed forces, for the military, to be able to find him? If you are so precise about his location, why then can't the military get hold of him?
Well, I think, there are three things that we need to look into this. One, inability of the past administration and even the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration to sanction those who have been given responsibility. If I give you a responsibility, go and apprehend Bello Turji, and you come back and I didn't ask you to account for why you did not apprehend Bello Turji, and Bello Turji still continue to exhibit and attack military formations and even seize many of the armor tanks and the APCs and the rest and the alike, then I should charge you. The Chief of Defense Staff should charge the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Army Staff should charge the GOC, and the GOC should charge the unit commander. And the federal government, also the Office of the National Security Advisor, should sanction the Office of the DSS through the office of the president on why somebody who Dr. Geso is saying that he is precisely an indigenous of Nigeria, a citizen of Fakai community, and he resides at Fakai community from Kware Korea political what, from Shinkafi local government, and have been terrorizing Sokoto and Zamfara, precisely the local government of Gorenyo, Sabambuni, Isa, Shinkafi, Zurmi, Kauran Namoda, and to some extent part of GBA in Katsina State. What have you been doing for more than 10 years? For more than a decade, you have been asking for what you need. Why can't you? What have you been doing? Then probably if people are to be sanctioned, if we are to hold people accountable or responsibility given to them, if we can provide the strategy of use of kind of fishing and harnessing the unscrupulous element among the personnel themselves, if at all we will be holding the traditional leaders, the police authorities, the divisional police officers, the local government, local security officers, who is the representative of the DSS of the local government, I said, and I'm repeating myself, that Bello Turji is at non-place, he is not at unknown place. And Bello Turji is a citizen and indigent of Shinkafi local government, and Bello Turji never leaves Shinkafi local government for more than 20 days in the last 10 years. So he has been around there. But because we have not been able to hold people accountable and responsible for the responsibility given to them, that is one of the key reasons why we are unable to fish out Bello Turji. But I know the Chief of Army Staff and the Malam Badr Abubakar, the Minister of Defense, and the State Minister of Defense, Malam Bello Mutawalli, there are a number of allegations being passed through certain number of people, members of the State Assembly in Sokoto, members of the State Assembly in Zamfara, members of the local government council, and even the former local government chairman and serving local government chairman have been conniving, have been working together, have been supporting Bello Turji. But up to now, there was no sanction against them, and they have not been held accountable and responsible for certain atrocities of Bello Turji. And the traditional leaders around there who have been talking with Bello Turji and who have been interacting with Bello Turji have not been providing adequate information and adequate process and procedures of arresting Bello Turji. Yet, federal government have not been able to sanction them or to hold them accountable or to apprehend them and force them and use whatever measure, either coercive, kinetic or non-kinetic, to ensure that investigation using the intelligence process been able to expose how to get Bello Turji and deal with him decisively. But I know, and I said, and I will say, Bello Turji has been a stumbling block that has been disturbing the federal government, and I believe that Bello Turji is still in Nigeria and is within the Shinkafi Sokoto, Shinkafi Sabambuni, Isa, and Gorenyo, as well as Zurmi and part of Kauran Namoda, to some extent Talata Mafara local governments of Zamfara, Sokoto, and Katsina State to some extent. And he hardly lives in Shinkafi local government. He's still living around that area between the Dola Kaina, Dola Moriki, Colony, Kaiwa Lamba, Fakai, Kware, Kuria, Galadi, Katuru, and the rest of all those locations. And Bello Turji have testified to be one of the leading facilitators of killing late Serkin Gobir, something Bawa, if I can remember the name vividly. So if government really want to apprehend Bello Turji, I don't think it's something difficult. There is difference between I can do and I refuse to do. I know the Chief of Defense Staff and all the security formations that we have, they have the capability, but something is wrong somewhere. It is either we are politicizing the security issue around that area, it is either unscrupulous element are providing intelligence information to Bello Turji and vice versa to the security formations. It is either the traditional leaders and all other security formations around that area have not been a kind of sanction with being held accountable for them to do what to do in order to manage and arrest and apprehend and delete and kill Bello Turji or do whatever. It's either the Bello Turji boys who are working around that area have been diplomatically conniving with some of the community members around that area for them to be providing the protection and whatever. And I wonder why really up till now Bello Turji cannot be apprehended and arrested and be dealt with. That the minister himself had to give give an instruction. And I'm waiting to see what the instruction of the Minister Malam Badr Abakar will yield, whether it will yield result or it will remain the same subject, business as usual.
I need to ask you something that is a bit sensitive and concerning at a certain point. You already made an allusion to it a while ago. It has to do with a Minister of State for Defense, former governor of Zamfara State. In recent times, you're seeing what you might want to call a barrage of accusations and allegations against him, the most prominent of them coming from the current governor of Zamfara State, saying that, look, from Mr. Dauda Lawal, the governor of Zamfara State, saying that he had been involved in encouraging banditry. He had had interactions, on very significant levels with leadership of banditry in Zamfara State. That has happened consistently the last couple of months in particular. Now, my question to you is, in what specific ways do these allegations, as weighty as they are, impact the fight against banditry, particularly in Zamfara State and in general, the northwest belts of the country?
Well, if those allegations are found to be correct, and if the Minister of State, Malam Bello Mutawalli, is found to be wanting, I think it is now left on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration to kind of either sack or ask Mr. Bello Mutawalli to step aside and face the wrath of the law and attend to those allegations and challenges. It is not only Malam Dauda Lawal Dare, the governor of Zamfara State, that made allegations. There is one scholar also from Sokoto called and named Sheikh Bello Asada, and many others who have been alleging making that allegations. If I am in position of Minister Bello Mutawalli, I will step aside and face and ask everybody to come and present their arguments. But if those arguments are found to be correct, it is really irritating and quite a shameful act.
Let's talk about a few other issues now. The NSA, National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu himself, with a lot of experience under his belt regarding security, whether in Nigeria or across the Sahel, now says that the bulk of the arms that we have in the wrong hands, of course, in the hands of bandits and insurgents and kidnappers, particularly in the north, are smuggled and sold, or if you like, stolen and sold by men and officers in the police and the military. How disturbing is this kind of revelation?
Well, it is quite disturbing and it is practical. Why I said it is practical, there are a lot of apprehension of many security personnel, men and officers who are found wanting, conniving, or selling arms from the armory and so on and so forth. There are a lot of factual evidences that have been presented, not even by Malam Nuhu Ribadu, by many others. There are a lot of arrests that has been made. So it is not quite something new. It is not Malam Nuhu Ribadu that said it for the first time. Probably is the highest ranking personality in terms of security structure, in terms of security leadership in the country, that have been able to say it outrightly and make it a kind of a public statement. I will not be surprised. I know there are huge evidence and facts that have been presented by many other people from the public arena, even through the investigation at the divisional police offices, the state commands of the security agencies, and so on and so forth. It will be quite disheartening and kind of frightening if this continues to happen, because it means, like I made these allegations, I made these challenges that probably some of the unscrupulous elements can easily rent their arms for the criminals to go and conduct their atrocities, and they return it with some token, simply because there were a number of allegations of inability of some of the superior officers to pay the allowances of the personnel working, especially those who are in the field. And probably the absence of a system of reward and punishment in the process of administering and managing the intelligence and managing the security operations and so on and so forth is marked to be one of the contributing factors. And as far as this will continue, and as far as this will continue to come out from Nuhu Ribadu and his alike, definitely it means Nigeria is going to continue to be in trouble, because you are fighting those who are supposed to be sent to fight are the ones who are fighting the system. So then there is a problem, a big problem.
All right, let's talk about another problem. I don't know how big this is, but it is definitely big. With the indigenous people of Biafra, which is, of course, very dominant and vehement in the southeastern part of the country. One would have thought the narrative around the IPOB only is wrapped around or associated with Nnamdi Kanu, but now we're seeing the Simon Ekpa factor all the way from Finland. Just yesterday, authorities are saying to us that a certain Mr. Egu has now been arrested. He's alleged to be the founder of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, popularly called IPOB. Help us unpack this development in itself.
Well, you know, this guy has been talking from Finland through local and international media and through the Biafra media also. I have been listening and I have been watching and I have been reading. And I happens to be part of those who conducted a kind of very critical investigation around the IPOB activities, because I was in the Niger Delta and many other parts of the IPOB areas. I was given a privilege by many of the IPOB leadership to conduct a kind of survey, especially feasibility study, and to assess the capacity and the quality of the orientation and training, as well as the operational, tactical operational capability of the IPOB. And I believe that looking at the type of armor and ammunition that I saw, definitely these guys must be having a support from diaspora, and probably a bilateral or multilateral support from the international community, those among the enemies of Nigeria. So if Nigerian government have been able to apprehend this guy from Finland and bring him down to Nigeria to face the wrath of the law, this will be highly commendable. And I would really appreciate and I commend the effort of the security agencies. And I hope the judiciary, as well as the government, in collaboration and partnership with both local and international investigators, will do the needful to prove and harness and generate and mobilize and gather huge information related to crimes and criminality, especially something to do with the IPOB, and then be dealt with. Yes, of course, Nnamdi Kanu cannot be the only person leading the IPOB. Definitely any organization, either government or non-governmental, or even whatever you can call an organization, must have a leadership structure and must have a founders, must have a funders. So definitely if he has a capacity and capability, what government is supposed to do is to bring him before to the book, and also let him be dealt with, so that could serve as a deterrence for others to learn their lessons. If that could be done, then that will be highly commendable, and that will be a very good opportunity. And I commend the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration for so doing. And what I and Nigerians will now wait is to see whether there is sincerity and purpose in terms of taking the necessary step to deal with the guy and his allies, and also to mobilize and generate intelligence information and other information that will help in investigating who are really behind IPOB and many other crimes. Because IPOB and other crimes against the state in Nigeria is now becoming interwoven. They are correlating, they are partnering, they are collaborating, they are cooperating, they are corroborating. So if care is not taken, if we are not careful, we allow this nonsense and nuisance to continue to happen, then Nigeria will continue to be in trouble. That's my take for now.
Great. Let's talk about a different angle to all of this. When the indigenous people of Biafra just came on board some years ago, it seemed to essentially be about, well, we're tired of the system called Nigeria. We want to leave, all right? We want to sever, as it were, from the country. And then, of course, Nnamdi Kanu got arrested, got bail, jumped bail, got rearrested in Kenya, and brought back into Nigeria, is in custody at this point. The rest is history, as they say. However, as it stands today, it appears that it has gone beyond some people who say they want to leave a country where they do not feel comfortable for certain reasons. You look at the Southeast today, you see increased military presence, yet the issue of killing in the Southeast has not stopped, has not even abated for a second. what must be done to change this narrative? Because you just talked about how that there could be some foreign interference, maybe some foreign interests involved in all of this. But it has become a responsibility for the Nigerian authorities to deal with this. So what are the specific solutions that could be offered in this regard?
Some specific solutions that need to be employed or need to be put in place. One, there should be a system of reward and punishment for those who are working around the Niger Delta, Northeast, and all other related areas to the IPOB. Two, government must sit to its responsibility to take the ownership of, to retrieve the ungoverned spaces in the northeastern part of the country, which is under the control of the IPOB, especially that issue of sit at home. And three, politicians who are found to be part of those who are supporting the IPOB and their activities should be dealt with decisively. Number four, judicial system has been kind of so much corrupt. There is need for quick action in order to fix our judicial system, judicial justice, and the judicial operations, and so on and so forth. Number five, there is need to hold people accountable on the authority in respect to managing the security among the military, the DSS, the police, the civil defense, the immigration, and all the other formations that are around Niger Delta on why they have not been able to. They should be sanctioned. In fact, some of them should be demoted or even dismissed because of their inability to deliver their responsibilities and mandate. And those who have been doing well, there is need to have a system of reward that can be serve as a motivation for others so that people can work hard. Number six, government must work hard to fight corruption, because corruption have eaten us deep and is also contributing practically and seriously and assiduously in terms of inability of the government and security, presence of security personnel in the Niger Delta to kind of be able to be in control of those ungoverned spaces and the activities, checkmate the activities of the IPOB. So, and finally, number seven is to have a system of monitoring, evaluation, and assessment, whereby after every 3 months or 2 months or 1 month, or after every 6 months, an assessment team will be sent, and then a performance-based result will be harnessed, and then it will be brought, a report will be presented before the Federal Executive Council and the National Security Council to look inward, and those who are found wanting should be punished, and those who are found to be doing very well should be kind of given some reward, so that can serve as a motivation and so on and so forth. This is my take for now.
All right, so as we end this discussion this morning, Yahuza, one more thing. There is the belief by some people that if Nnamdi Kanu is released, the tension in the southeast of the country will ease automatically. Nnamdi Kanu himself has said, look, I'm not involved in the killings and all of the mayhem that you see across the southeast. And then you have people who say the reason you find this mayhem happening is that there are people taking advantage of the absence of Kanu and the fact that Kanu has been incarcerated for some time now. Do you believe, as a security and intelligence expert, that the release of Kanu, whether by the courts or through some political solution, will end the kind of madness that we see in the eastern part of the country?
I don't believe that release of the Kanu will bring an end of the killings and the rudeness and the chaos in the northeast and south and southeast areas where IPOB are conducting, forcing people to stay at home for a number of days, unnecessary killing of innocent and so on and so forth. Yes, of course. Release of Nnamdi Kanu will release the political tension, the political security tension. That's all. But those who are facilitating or supporting or kind of mobilizing and demobilizing and remobilizing those who are killing people and so on and so forth, they have definitely bilateral and multilateral connections. And they have interests. And most of those interests are political, economic interests. So it is a release of Nnamdi Kanu may only reduce the political security tension for some days, not even permanently. It's just for some days. But I want to tell you that it's not only the IPOB that are taking the advantage. There are other people who are having the political economic, who are taking the political economic advantage of what is happening, who will continue to fuel the insecurity and provide arms through the back door the front door, the front elevator, front view, whatever, to provide arms and ammunition and mobilize unemployed youth and the rest of it to continue to be killing people in the name of IPOB, Biafra agitation, and so on and so forth. But it is not only because of Biafra agitation people are being killed. There is travel and communal crisis. There are institutional crises. There are institutional collapse. There are institutional decay. There are institutional corruptions. There are systematic corruptions, and so on and so forth. Everybody knows all this. And if anybody do not know all this, should contact me on my number 08030.
No, you cannot call out number on a live program, please. It's not done, please. We apologize, but that's against the standard. But we'd like to say a big thank you to you, Ahmed Yahuza, for your time with us on the program this morning. We do not take your valuable insights for granted. We do hope you enjoy this weekend that is upon us. Okay, security issue is everyone's business, no doubt about that, but we must continue to have this conversation in such a way that everybody understands what their role ought to be. But in all of this, we have a responsibility to make Nigeria a peaceful place for all. That's our program for you today. Just a quick reminder that the views of all of our guests across all of our programs, their opinions. I'm Uyag Mofwegwe. On behalf of the entire team here at Global Television, we say a big thank you to you. At top of the hour, we will join Samuel Udi to bring you Talk Sport.
Was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle with ASU strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.